Hi, I'm Vincent with Bocconi Real Estate, and I'm here with Kathy Russell, owner-operator and interior designer with Small Space Designs.
Hi.
So tell me what an interior designer does.
In my case, I only do small spaces, so we'll go in and it could be a home office, it could be a bedroom, it could be a family room. We'll go in and we'll sit with the client, find out what they want. What a lot of the time we'll do is spend some time with them to see how they function in the space, and then we'll sit down and we'll put a plan together. So a lot of interior designers will do renovations, they'll do whole homes, like I said, renovated and then restructured. But for me, I just prefer to do the smaller spaces in homes, condos. Do a lot of condos. People downsizing into condos, so it's taking a lot of what they have and incorporating that with a few new pieces into a condo or in a small bungalow or smaller space.
How did you get into when you say small spaces? How did that
I wanted to segregate myself from the other designers so that I'm more unique. And the other thing is, for the last 7 years, I was doing more on the organizing and downsizing.
Okay.
So I could see the level of people that have so much stuff and are trying to fit it into smaller spaces.
Sure.
So it'd be like people selling their house and going, "Oh, by the way, Vince, I'm going to move to a condo." Well, the real estate agent isn't going to say, "Oh, well, you got to get rid of a lot of this stuff." You might say, "Oh, you know what? I know this lady, Kathy, whatever. She can help you pare down your stuff, and it could be something you and I work out so that it's not a cost to them, but it makes you stand out because you're offering a separate service."
Exactly.
Compared to, "Oh, you just sell the house and see you later."
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem. A lot of people they see that as an in and out transaction. They don't see all the ancillary benefits around. And then also engaging, like you said, people that do all of the things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Knowing the experts and the people that really know how to do it, bring it in the clients benefit, and they prefer that, right? It's the same as if someone comes to you for design, but like you said with the snowplow examples, once you build a relationship, they trust your opinion. You know the local people, but about every industry, it's not even in design specific, right?
Yeah. The other thing too is when people, and I just know this from my years of moving a couple of times, the real estate agent will give you like a bottle of wine or a fruit basket. My thought is give them something that's valuable, like a rug cleaning service, or a floor cleaning service, or one housekeeping. You know what I mean?
An interior design consultation.
Yeah, like something that is beneficial. And you've built the relationship with that person, so that I'm constantly on, say it was me, I'm constantly on your radar and you're on my radar.
Exactly.
Okay, Vince did this, I got to listen if one of my clients is thinking about selling, blah, blah, blah. Too bad it wasn't last year, because I did have a client sell.
Right, of course.
But
there'll be more in the future.
Yeah, like they are actually retiring and moving way north. So, I don't know how far you go, but to selling.
It all depends.
Yeah, exactly right. If it's worth the drive, like if I get a client up in Midland, it's an hour.
Yeah.
I'd rather go an hour north.
Yeah, then an hour south. You were talking about that before too.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience in the city last week.
Oh, going downtown for an appointment. Oh my gosh, it was like the rat race. Everybody was coming this way, and I'm trying to get through this way, and just tons and tons of people. So it's crazy down there. That's why I decided to focus up here as opposed to trying to do both. You can't.
No, you have to really focus, commit to one thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of growth here in town. Holland Landing, like you said, Bradford.
Yep.
Lots of growth in Bradford as well as Innisfil. So, I have some clients up in Innisfil, so I'll be trucking up there next week. So it just, wherever the work is, as long as it's north or even west to Orangeville and east to Uxbridge.
So really anywhere around here?
Yeah, anywhere within the circumference of north of 9.
Right.
No more Toronto.
Yeah, no more Toronto. No more Toronto. Do you see Newmarket kind of becoming a little bit of a hub of the northern region? I mean, there are a couple things here that, we have the hospital, obviously the mall. We do have a little bit more of a downtown strip here.
Yeah.
Do you see it a little bit being a little bit of a hub?
Yeah, I think what's happened now with Newmarket and the growth, it's becoming the northern hub. So everybody around the circumference comes into Newmarket to do their shopping, to do doctor's appointments, right, the hospital, even like the kids' sports and stuff. A lot of it's in Newmarket. Like Home Landing will come into Newmarket for swimming and sports stuff, unless they're getting an arena. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Bradford's got their own community center now, so that took a lot of the traffic away, but yeah, it's essentially a hub. A lot of people moving up here, and if they can't get into Newmarket, then they're in the hub. So they're in either Home Landing or Keswick, like up that way. So lots of growth going on. You might not see it when you look on your street, but it's all on the outskirts.
Sure.
And you can see by the roads and the highways. You know, Highway 9.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's incredible how busy it gets really quickly. You don't need to, 5,000 or 6,000 new people. All of a sudden you get, 5,000 or 6,000 more cars.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, one thing I've noticed being up here for not very long is it seems like there's a real investment in the infrastructure. So they're not just moving people up here and then saying, well, what do we do now? It's more like, we know the growth is happening, so how do we build, how do we plan for that? You see that on Yonge Street with the construction, like they're really trying to really make the roads usable.
Yeah, I did actually ask one of the planners about their roads, and he said they're building them for the next generation.
Right. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, we're not responding. We're not reacting to what's going to happen. It's we're planning for the future growth, right?
Yeah. And the other thing too is with the people that are moving up here, they want to do business in this community as opposed to living here and then going to Toronto to purchase things. I think Newmarket being the hub, we need to get a few more bigger stores and stuff, so that, like a Crate and Barrel or Pottery Barn, one that's got a little bit more mixture for
those sound like design stores.
Yeah, exactly.
You sound biased. I was going to say, what else would you like to see? Because it's amazing. I think that Newmarket does have a lot of that, but you're right. It would be nice to see a few more things. What else would you love to see?
I'd love to see, more locations that have fabrics for people to be able to go and look at. More higher end furniture places, because people are making the investment now in a good piece of furniture and then adding some elements of maybe a little bit more inexpensive, maybe an inexpensive lamp as opposed to a more expensive lamp. They'll spend the money on a nice piece, like a nice couch, or if they're, some people actually aren't even buying couches anymore. They're just getting side chairs. It just depends on how they're living and how much space they have.
Right. So. I feel like as well, people here, it seems to be the kind of community where you're coming up here for more mid to long term. You're not kind of in and out of Newmarket. So people want to come here. They want to invest in their home. They want to spend a few dollars and know that they're going to be here for a little while. As opposed to doing the quick fix or the quick decorate. Here for a few years, make a few bucks, and then move on. Right.
Yeah. No. I think the other reason why a lot of people are moving here too is. You're right, the hospital's here, so everything they kind of need is right in town. So some of the older homes that are behind here, they want stuff on the main street so that they can just walk to it. With the river now, people are constantly coming down. They want to walk, they want to ride, they want to be out in the community and support the community. So, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the place to be.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This is interesting you say that. When I was downtown on Queen Street West, yeah, I think it's West. And you might know the store. It's called, I have this card somewhere. He has antiques, but he has, I guess when a film company comes in and they film the place, and they've got like a mannequin or a lamp and this, and they just need to get rid of it, and he takes it and then he sells it. And so I'd asked him how much the light was, and he said I think it was $125, and I said okay, I'll take it, right? And as he's wrapping it, he go and I paid him, and then he's wrapping it, right? And he goes, oh, so where are you from? I said Newmarket. He said, oh, very rich place. If I'd known that, I would have charged you $400. First time I've ever heard that, because really. The pet peeve up here is Aurora has all the money.
Yeah, of course.
But everybody's a slob in Aurora.
So
Newmarket, there is a lot of money in Newmarket.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like it's crazy. People just were so hung up that it was Aurora, but now it seems to be Newmarket, and I think that's why you're starting to see changes at the mall, changes on Davis Drive with some of the apartments. Now they're cleaning them up and making them more presentable.
Yeah.
So it actually is the place.
It's amazing. It's all relative, right? So like maybe we don't have as much money relative to Aurora.
Yeah.
But I think that the farther away from the city you move, there are suburbs where people who have money and they can afford bigger houses or bigger lots or whatever, they do kind of move away. And they can afford to have a car and drive into the city every day. Whereas people, in the core, maybe they can't afford to have a car, or they're renting or whatever. They can never really kind of move out, right?
Yeah.
Right now we come into Newmarket for a lot. We're only 10 minutes, right? So we're pretty close.
Yeah.
I almost like having the division where I go to home, where I have my nice big land and it's quiet, and then it's amazing even how much quieter Holland Landing is than Newmarket in a lot of ways.
As soon as you pass Green Lane, you notice it.
Yeah, exactly, right? And we're not too far north from there, right? So
I loved it. Kids loved it. They were outside constantly. So and the community was, not everybody knew everybody, but your community was there. If one of your kids was around the block and got hurt, the parent would bring them, or whatever the case may be. Whereas, when you're in a bigger community, people don't really bother.
No, of course, and I
think
think
keeps them to themselves,
right? And I think that one of the differences I noticed from Toronto to Newmarket and even to Holland Landing is like people aren't transient here. Like they're not in and out. They're not passing through. They're here.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit more committed to what's happening on the street, what's happening in their neighborhood, what's happening, on Main Street or whatever. Whereas in the city, like there are so many people coming through in and out, and they don't really latch on to anything permanently because they're transient. So I've noticed up here, like the sense of community is really strong because people really begin to invest in it, right?
Right.
I don't know how long you've been in this corner store, but like you become a landmark of where you are, right?
Right. So I've been here since April. So I've worked from home for the last 8 years, and then I decided I wanted to try for a year having my own studio. Just to be out of the house and sort of get more, one, in the community, be out in the community so people see me, people pop in and ask questions. So that's been great because, I always say to them, come in, ask me, I'm here, it's no charge.
Right.
People love it.
Yeah,
or they'll come back and say, I bought this and blah, blah, blah. So they're all excited about it, right? When you just give them a little bit of advice. So it's not about it costs anything. Like, you're in the community, you're walking by, come in. That's what I'm here for. The door's open.
Yeah, the door's open.
Yeah, and and I get some gentlemen that come in too, and they, just want to say hi and, chat with you. So that's nice too, because they live around here, so they do their daily walk and stuff. So it's nice,
yeah. It's an incredible location where you are. I'm a little jealous, I'll be honest with you. It's an amazing location.
It's a big step and it's a bigger responsibility than working at home, but it's about budgeting and just being careful. And the fact that I took it for a year is sort of stress-free because I know, after that year I can make the decision, do I want to stay or do I want to, sort of go back?
Yeah, of course. What's it like having people just kind of pop in and be able to see just there? I mean, you don't have a ton of stuff here, but you have enough to showcase a little bit. What's that like? Yeah,
it's great because they can come in and they'll ask a question saying, "Oh, I've got this room. Do you think that couch would be okay, or should I get a bigger couch, or what color?" So they'll come in and sometimes I say to them, come back with a picture if you're not sure, or they'll just ask, what kind of furniture would go good in a home office?
Right.
So I have a client not too far from here. She's got a 100-year-old house.
Wow.
And she wants to keep the house as is.
Right.
Keep the heritage of it. And so her office is in the back of the house.
Right.
And so we're redoing that. But we put a door on so that at the end of the day she can close the door and that's her office.
Right.
And not part of the house.
Right.
So that was a big learning for her, and she's happy. Because now she can shut the door and
and there's separate spaces.
There's separate spaces. She's not at the dining room table. So so that was great because trying to keep a century home and make a nice office, but also keep it separate.
Right.
Because a lot of people, I've written many blogs on it about sitting at your dining room table trying to run a business.
It's very I know
distracting.
firsthand it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult because you're thinking of other things that you have to do, and so if you're going to run a business, you don't have to have a big fancy office in your house. Just find a corner,
dedicated space.
A dedicated space that you can segregate yourself and then concentrate and focus there, as opposed to, you know, a lot of people work from home, they're doing laundry, they're in the kitchen, they're going to the mailbox. Like if you're going to work from home, it's difficult to stay focused if you don't have a good space. So
yeah, you mentioned you were in the corporate world, but now you're your own boss. What's it like working for yourself?
I love it. I wish I would have left sooner. There's no politics.
Yeah, right, sure.
You still have to get up and get dressed every day and be professional. But I don't miss the rat race. Like I said, I don't miss the politics or, you know, having to report in, you know, very structured where I was at the bank, you know, it's 8 to 8:30, you know, you can't be here at 8:35,
right.
You know, and then, you know, working all day and then leaving at 5, like clock in, clock out, like I could be out at a client's at 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't bother me. You know, I set my own schedule, so I like that freedom.
Yeah.
And it, you know, allows me to be able to book a client or not book a client, or if a client has an emergency,
sure.
I have the freedom to go.
Right.
Doesn't matter, you know.
What's it like running your own business and then seeing the impacts of what you're doing as opposed to working for somebody and having a satisfied client? Like what's that? Is that any different?
Yeah, for me, it's satisfying when the clients are happy and they call you back for other things. Whereas in the corporate world, you know, you're working your butt off and really you don't get any praise for it. Yeah, at the end of the year, you might get a little bonus, but you're working all year for making them essentially richer. Whereas for me, as much as I work, that's what I get paid. If I don't work, then I don't get paid. So you're always wanting to work or have the next project coming in the pipeline. So it's about, for me now, it's about building relationships with my clients. Right.
Tell me a bit about that. You said you've been doing this for about 8 years.
8 years.
So how have you? Tell me about kind of the process.
Yeah. So I transitioned when I first left the corporate world. I actually started doing event planning because I went to Ryerson and was certified as an event planner.
Okay.
Well, 2008 was the recession, and so nobody was doing events. So I thought, geez, what else could I do? So I started a concierge service.
Okay.
So from that service and building the relationships with my clients, I noticed a lot of people were asking me to organize their homes. And so from there, organizing and telling clients, you know, they have a lot of, not telling them they have a lot of stuff, but they have a lot of stuff.
Sure.
So we worked through a lot of this stuff, and people were now living much more simpler. So I decided, okay, I'll do my interior design program. Did that, and then I decided I wanted to go out and just do small spaces where people can live with less, but comfortably, and love their space.
Right.
And so that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years.
Wow.
And I love it.
And so we talked, and you love it, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, it gets me out of bed every day.
Yeah. Some would call it a niche, but you don't like the word niche. Tell me why.
I don't, because, you know, if a client came to me, you know, and she says, or he says, I just need you to do a small den for me or a small office. Absolutely. You know, they could be, you know, I just did a client, she's 68, I think. I just did her master bedroom closet, you know, and then I had a different client, she's like 34 maybe, and she asked me just to do her space as a retreat. So she didn't want any chairs, like she just wanted like the footstool, some pillow cushions, and she just wanted it to be not her whole home, but the one room. And so you never know what client you're going to get. So for me, the niche never worked. It's more about client or someone's referred that client, then I work with them.
Right. Focusing on what the client needs.
It's exactly, and it's what the client needs, not what I want, what the client needs. So I never know who's coming to me.
Okay.
So where some people, they're totally niche, and that where they're an interior designer and they might do a whole house.
Right.
And that's what they want to do.
Right.
But that's, for me, it's the smaller scale stuff.
Okay. What's the most exciting or most memorable project you've ever done?
The most memorable. Oh, I did a lady's condo, and of course she wanted everything white, and that's great. I mean, that works for her. And so I asked her to go out for the day, which was very scary because she didn't want to leave her space. And so I had all the furniture arranged to come in the morning, and then she was coming back in the afternoon. So it was a tight schedule, but when she came in, she just cried because she thought, oh my God, this is my space. I get to live here, and everything was was put in for her, unwrapped, and she loved it.
Total transformation.
Total transformation. So the last thing that we didn't get in time because the light wasn't in was her light. So when her light came, I came a few days later to install it. She goes, "You're going to install that?" And she couldn't believe I installed the light for her. Like, it was a hanging down light. So watched my husband a number of times. So I figured it out. I didn't get zapped, so that was a good thing. But she was just so happy. She couldn't believe that I did it. And I was just like, "Well, you're my client. Who's going to do it?"
Yeah,
right?
that's
Everybody's gone.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, it was just the fact that she was just mesmerized. So it was just a one-bedroom condo, but to see the look in her face that she got to move in there and everything was brand new, comfortable. There were a few of her older pieces that were in there as well.
Work,
yeah, we made those work, and she was just so happy. So yeah, that one was a good one.
Incredible. And so if someone else wants to have that experience, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
They can just give me a shout or send me an email at Kathy@smallspacedesign.ca.
Okay, and what if they want to walk in and see you here? Where are we?
We're at 471 Timothy Street in Newmarket.
Incredible. Kathy, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the interview.